introduce yourself.
My name is Stephanie Hausman, and I'm Uma's mother. So from a very young age, you were fearful of dogs. I think this may have stemmed from an experience that you had with your friend Simon's dog, and maybe another experience with your friend Jed's dog, where I think those dogs were just kind of jumpy. Nothing traumatic happened to you, but they were just sort of intimidating. So we tried to figure out a way to help you overcome your fear of dogs. And that led us to the Read to the Dogs program at our local library, where someone, I think it was once a week, would come and bring their dog, and the child would read to their dog. Well, it didn't quite go that way at the beginning. You started out across the room from the dog because you were so afraid, and I read to the dog. And then gradually each week you would come a little bit closer to the dog, and at some point you started to pet the dog's backside, and then you got closer. You were very afraid of the dog licking you. And then eventually you read to the dogs. And then after that, you were so excited by it and so enthusiastic that you were invited to the dog owner's house. Her name is Jennifer, to do special readings to the dog. Her dog was Britain, by the way. Special readings to Britain at Jennifer's beautiful house. So we would go there and we would hang out with them. You would hide treats. Britain would go find the treats. You would read to the dog there.
So she can reach it. Wait. I don't think you're close. I'll make sure she waits.
Wait.
Wait. Good wait.
Wait.
Good wait.
Wait. Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Come on, Uma.
Go.
What do you think?
Okay, Brittany.
Okay. Good girl. Good girl.
Can you give her a pat, Uma?
At some point, you asked if you could have I think it must have been your 5th or 6th birthday party there. And she welcomed all of your friends at this birthday party. It was dog themed. Britain was the center of attention, but everything else was around dogs. We did not have a dog at that point, so we didn't bring Quadra. But over the years, this led us to get a dog named Quadra at your request. So we just thought you had come so far with overcoming your fear of dogs, and we wanted to honor that request.
Aww.
So with Britain, we would take Britain to visit a senior center, and there was a man there. I don't know his name. Harry.
I think his name was.
Okay, Harry. We would visit, and I think it was a center for people with Alzheimer's. And so we would go there and bring Britain and just bring some joy into his life. It really makes people feel at ease in their surroundings, and just they loosen up, they bring joy to people, they're comforting, they're non-judgmental. Especially that's helpful with the Read to the Dogs. Sometimes parents will correct their children when they're reading, but a dog is completely just loving and non-judgmental and very comforting.
My name is Trina Gendel. I'm governance chair for Pacific Animal Therapy Society. And PATS, as it's known locally, has been around and a registered charity since 1988 by a retired nurse who found that when she brought her animals into her extended care environments, that the environment was changed, and it was changed positively. So she decided to get an organization together that would put as many therapy pets as possible into her main focus. Originally was seniors' homes, but we have expanded since then quite a bit, and I'll get to that later. So we are a small but mighty organization. Our services are provided without any cost to anyone that seeks us out. And we currently have 110 volunteers going out into 97 different locations throughout Greater Victoria. So that includes everything from Salt Spring Island to our west shore of the island, as well as far north as about Duncan, although we do have someone up in Campbell River as well. So, but mostly within the Greater Victoria area. These 97 these 97 locations vary from, we have about 60 of those are seniors homes, and then we have schools. We have 2 programs that we provide in schools, and we provide these programs at most levels. So we go into schools right from elementary to high school level, as well as post-secondary. So in the elementary schools, we actually have a reading literacy program where the students read to the dogs. And we use the dogs as a catalyst for learning. So for instance, my dog's name is Forrest. So I would say something like, hey, Forrest fell asleep during that page. Would you mind telling him what happened? Or Forrest didn't understand that word. Can we sound it out for him? And so you're using the dog as the catalyst for the learning, because then the pressure is off of the student, and the student relaxes and becomes the teacher or the mentor to the dog. And they don't feel like they're in a remedial reading program. The other thing that we have found that now the schools are really requesting from us are wellness visits. So we would have volunteers go in on a weekly basis and work with a group of students that that need extra support. So whether that's, sending them back to the classroom in a calmer state, more focused on their learning, or whether it's supporting a student that perhaps has lost a parent, or a student that has that doesn't have a very supportive home life, and the counselor wants to have conversations. We find that those conversations are a lot easier when there's a therapy dog present that they're snuggled up with, and they're feeling comfortable, and they feel relaxed, and they feel open. So those are the wellness visits. We also have regular programs that go into high schools at exam time. So before students write exams, we have regular visits to the universities. We have a few here in Victoria. So on a regular basis, we go in, and it's called Pet Cafe, and they get tea, coffee, cookies, and cuddles.
Oh my God.
And so, whoever's hosting usually provides the home-baked cookies and the tea and the coffee, and we provide the dogs, and we get all sorts of students coming. Those students that are living away from home, missing their pets, those students that are stressed and just need some cuddle time.
Talk a little bit about your experience training your dog and what it's like to train a therapy animal.
So all of our animals are actually pets of their owners. So it's really the owners that initiate an application with us if they want to go out to the community and do this type of work. And typically, the dogs don't need any special training. Now, they need to be well-mannered, so that does mean some level of obedience. So when we assess the dogs, we expect them to be able to walk on leash without pulling, so a comfortable walk on leash. We expect them to not jump up. A sit, a down stay, just in case they need to be put in a quiet corner of the room if something's happening or whatever. They need to be able to do those things. So just generally well-mannered. And then what we look for mostly when we assess the dogs is their willingness to interact with humans. So that's humans of all types, right? So we have humans from little tiny, grade kindergartens to seniors. And we also go into hospice. So we have people at the very end of their lives. We go into pediatric wards, so we have sick children. Wow. We go into supportive transitional housing, so we have women in distress as well. So the dogs, we try and expose them during the assessment to quite a variety of people. Also people with mobility challenges. So people in wheelchairs, people with crutches, people with walkers, people that are nonverbal, and perhaps have a movement that they do, to just self-soothe. So the dogs have to be comfortable with all of that. So the training that you can't, there's an innate part that the dog has to be, and that is their willingness to interact. Beyond that, it's more we look for the handlers to be able to advocate for their dogs. So they need to know when their dogs are giving them stress signals. So owners, if they're training their dogs, should really understand, a pant that on a golden retriever that looks like a smile is not, it's
Right.
cute that it looks like a smile, but it's actually a stress pant. Or, chasing their tail. Oh, isn't that, look, my dog does it all the time. He is a golden retriever. So, chasing his tail, that's his way of regulating himself, of getting rid of the zoomies and the stresses and whatever, because he knows when he has to be at an event or, be with people when he's doing his work. He has to sit calmly and allow himself either, to be pat. And he can do that laying down. He can do it as a goof. He does it sometimes on his back with his all four legs up. And sometimes at about an hour and 15 minutes, he tells me, like, Mom, I really don't want to be here anymore. Usually at that point, I will make him do some tricks or something to get his mind off of whatever, to dissipate some of the stress that he has been feeling taken on from the people. And usually he's then good for at least another half hour or so. We do limit our dog's work to a maximum of 2 hours per day, because even though they look like they're sleeping or resting or getting a massage while all these people are petting them, it does take a lot out of them. So they are not trained to endure the type of work that a service dog would. So they are therapy dogs and they are our pets. So once our handlers have, passed sort of the assessment, we also have to make sure our handlers have a criminal record check, a clean criminal record check. We have references for them, and that's about it. And then we figure out where they best would fit. I myself, because I had a mom in Alzheimer's care for quite some time, I don't really, it isn't that I don't like going to seniors' homes. I prefer to go elsewhere. So I would go into schools or hospitals or whatever. And others love going into seniors' homes. We have ex-teachers and ex-librarians that really enjoy doing our reading literacy program. So we try and match up our volunteers to where they need to go. So we don't only have dogs. We actually have 3 cats in our program.
Really? Wow.
We've had guinea pigs, we've had rabbits, we've had small ponies, we've had larger ponies. We had a llama. So over the 37 years or so, we've had quite a variety of animals. The only challenge now is, outside of dogs and cats, we would have to go through a different assessment process. The other thing that I should mention, it isn't just the people that we're serving that get a benefit from this. Most of our volunteers, because our work is done Monday through Friday, most of our volunteers are retired seniors. So it provides an opportunity for those seniors to go out into the neighborhood, to stay vital, to have conversations with multi-generational people. So, keeping them current. If we have a tech question, it's easy to ask one of the younger people we're interacting with, hey, how do you do this? Or can you show me how to do this? So again, it becomes a two-way thing, a win-win. A lot of our volunteers, I have one gentleman, unfortunately, his wife is now nonverbal Alzheimer's. And so he still has her at home. He has caregivers for her, but he uses going out with Pats into these neighborhood schools actually as his respite. It's his way of getting away. It's his way of having conversations, because he doesn't get to have conversations a lot at home. And, we thought usually our volunteers, he does 3 schools a week. Usually one of our volunteers only does one school and maybe another group event or something in a week. But he wanted the extra, and because of his unique situation, we said, great, if you can manage that, that's wonderful for us, because he's a grandpa type and he has lots of grandchildren, so he's wonderful doing wellness visits in the schools. Yeah.
How did you find your way to this work?
So I retired in 2019. Luckily, I had a year before COVID, and a year prior to that, I knew I was retiring.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our third golden at that time, and he was just, he wanted to interact with everybody. He was so gentle, and he would just walk up to people and nudge them and want to interact. And I thought, okay, this dog has something special. And so I investigated it, and we lived in Edmonton at the time. And there were 3 organizations that actually do therapy work in Edmonton. And I decided upon one of them and started going to, we picked universities. We did a lot of university library visits there. And then we did a school for children or students, I should say, students between 14 and 20 that were at risk of not graduating high school. So we went in every week, and I have some very special stories about those times. I'll try not to cry. So at this school that I was mentioning, that it was an inner city school, Jasper was our golden's name at the time. So we would arrive every week. We would go every week. This school was probably 85 to 90% Indigenous children. And because of my silver hair, I was treated like an elder. So I was really well received. And because Jasper was just so adorable, he was well received as well. So what we did is we worked with the counselor there, and we would have group. It was just called group. And so about, I'd say between 8 and a dozen or so kids would come every week. And they would, the discussion was usually about, life topics. So, hey, next week is spring break. What are you going to do during spring break? How are you going to keep yourself safe and healthy and all those things? And I would speak in Jasper's voice. So, Jasper would say things like, oh, well, I'm going to get to sleep in the morning, but I have to still make sure I go out for my walk and get some sunshine. And, and, oh, I bet you my mom will make some fun treats for me. Or if she doesn't, I'm going to, I may bake something for myself or whatever, just sort of modeling good, I don't want to say good behavior, but good life skills. So anyway, so on the way to group every week, we had to pass through this large common area. And Jasper never pulled on leash. And one time when we arrived, or, when we first started going to this school, he was pulling me across this open space. And there was a young lady sitting in the corner. She had some mobility issues. And Jasper insisted upon going up to her. Now she was wearing a hoodie. She was wearing headphones. She was very closed, I would say. And Jasper decided he would go up, and she had her hand on her phone in her lap, and Jasper nudged her hand, and she had to pay attention to him. And I said, sorry, he chooses who he interacts with. So she didn't say much, whatever, and we went on our way. And the next week he did it, and the next week he did it, and the next week he did it. And then the next week when he did it, she didn't have her hoodie down. She was sitting a little closer to the hallway, where we went by. She made herself more accessible. Then it took a little while, but then she would actually greet me and greet Jasper. And at one point, I don't know how many months in this was, I said, you're more than welcome to come to group and you can have more cuddle time with Jasper. And lo and behold, she started coming to group. Um, she only, at first, she would, if there was partner work to do, she would only be Jasper's partner, which meant she was my partner, which was just fine. Um, so she finished out the academic year, and then next year she started coming again. We went there for a total of 3 years. And then in the third, so the teachers couldn't believe the change in her. During that second year, she started interacting with others. We were told that she has even started interacting with, she lived independently. So she was attending a church, and they said that she was actually interacting and volunteering to, make sandwiches or whatever they would do after their services. And so this was great. And then the third year, we started off in September, and then, as you know, COVID hit in March, and she was graduating that year. And the hard part was, here we were restricted as to how many people a graduate could have. And the counselor gave me a call, and she said, you and Jasper have been requested as being one of her people, but we're not going to let you guys be one of her people. We are going to, other students want you there too. So we're going to have you at the ceremony, which happened to be outside. And we want you to come for everybody. And we had come to previous graduations. We just weren't thinking that we were going to be going to the one right at the beginning, 2 months or 3 months into COVID. So this young lady's name was Mika. As she walked across the stage in a beautiful gown that was provided, she asked the principal, who was handing out their certificates, could she say something? And she went up to the mic and she said, I have a special thank you to say, and it's to Jasper, because without Jasper, I wouldn't be here today.
Oh my God, that's so touching.
Yeah. So I think out of all my interactions, that probably provided the passion for me to continue doing this and to get more involved and to end up, working in the leadership of an organization that does this kind of work.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
We then can do some of the stats for you. As I mentioned, we have 110 volunteers. We go into 97 different places. That translates to about $5,000 hours of volunteer work in our community. And we anticipate that we interact with 18,000 people.
Wow.
Because some of our university events, like they'll be in an hour and a half, there'll be between 150 and 200 students that come through. Wow. Because typically we'll have between 8 and 10 dogs there, and you have 4 students petting a dog, and they sit around and they talk to us, and we learn a lot about what they're doing, and so we interact with quite a few people in a year. We have quite an impact.
Yeah, sounds like it. Do you know, I can also look it up. Do you know the URL to donate?
So if you go onto our website, there is a button there that you just click on, and we actually do that through Help Canada is what it is.
Oh my God.
There he
is. Cute. Hi,
Yeah,
Forrest.
he's a handsome boy.
He's so cute. Oh.
Yeah. People tend to fall in love with him.
Yeah. Oh, he looks so soft too. Oh my God.
His ears are uber soft, and so if we have someone that's hesitant to touch him, I'll usually hold his head and they'll touch his ear, and so that he doesn't move his head very quickly. We have ways of making sure that they're quite still, that then people will make him quite approachable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh my God, he's so cute. How old is he?
He's 3.5.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh. That's
So
awesome. That was very sweet.
quite cute. Yeah. And
Um,
basically our mission is to bring our pets out into the out into the community.
Yeah.
There's a researcher at UBC that has coined the phrase joy contagion.
Oh.
And so he says that when therapy dogs are in a room and students or any group of people come together, you can see how the joy contagion starts by people will first they smile and their shoulders relax and they take on a different demeanor when they're around the dogs, and it very quickly is infectious and goes around the room, and so that's why he calls it joy contagion.
Hi, I'm here at the Portland Doggy Dash. It's been fascinating. So many cute dogs, so many fun activities. Sponsored by the Oregon Humane Society.
Does she have like a favorite thing that she enjoys doing?
She says being with you. She says that's my favorite. She's like let's just spend time together and just hang out. She says that's her favorite.
Aww. How does she feel about like being at home sometimes? Sometimes she gets to come over but sometimes she has to stay home.
She says she likes it when she goes more because I get bored sometimes. I have to go like this. She's like, I get bored. So she says, give me more kind of like that enrichment stuff to do when you're not at home. And she says that'll help. And she's like, remind me maybe the next day or the day after I'll get to go to work. And she says, yay!
So my name is Emily Zamper. I am the owner of Are You My Human Dog Lounge, Rescue Dog Lounge, here in Bellingham. I started volunteering here in 2024 and took ownership early 2026. Basically, our mission is to provide a service to local rescues to get their dogs adopted. So we feature them here while we're open, Thursday through Sunday. We socialize them. introduce them to potential adopters and basically facilitate that adoption process in a more organic, authentic environment than you might find at your traditional shelter or rescue organization. And we really try to market it as puppy therapy. The vast majority of our business is people just looking for time with dogs rather than looking to adopt. But it's great because we obviously cater to both. Yeah, you can come and pay $16 to spend about an hour with the dogs. And every dollar that we make goes back into the operation. Whatever we need to make this place safe, comfortable, clean for not just the dogs, but also our customers. And our biggest focus outside of the dogs themselves is really wanting to be a community resource and having strong relationships with other small businesses in town, rescues in town, other animal welfare organizations in town, as well as the university. I have been a lifelong animal lover. I wanted to be a veterinarian at one point. I wanted to do anything that involved animals, and then I went to school for media production and fell into work in Los Angeles for a really long time, and I always had this big hole in my heart. And I have dogs of my own, but there's nothing like working with the underserved population of animals or the neglected animals or whatever. And I've been a vegan for 7 years, which is completely for the animals. And since living in Bellingham, that has become the number one priority. And I volunteer in a different farm organization, and animals are my everything. I don't have kids. My kids are my little fur babies, and it's just, there's nothing more gratifying and satisfying than helping an animal in need, because who's going to do it for them? Somebody has to.
My name is Jamie Arnett. I am the Executive Director at Animals as Natural Therapy. I started at ANT in 2015 as a contract grant writer. I became the Development Director and Operations Director in 2019 and the Executive Director in 2020. Animals as Natural Therapy seeks to improve mental and behavioral health through animal-assisted programs in Northwest Washington. ANT started in 1999 as a small farm offering services, respite-type services to young people from Catholic Community Services. And since then, we've grown to serving over 5,000 people a year. Okay. So one of the things that I think is important and is interesting is that prior to the pandemic, we were serving around 500 people, and today we're serving more than 5,000. And that wasn't coincidence. During the pandemic, there was an extremely high need for people to connect with others, for social and emotional learning programs, for just connection and community. And we started working one-on-one with the Blaine School District to help some young people that were in lower income families that were sort of isolated, and we would meet them outside in a large field and just do some hands-on therapy. And it became recognized that what we were doing was safe because it was outside and it was healthy. And the pandemic was actually the catalyst for our growth, which a lot of organizations actually sunk during the pandemic, but outdoor education had a very niche place during that period of time.
Cool, awesome, yeah.
Great. Just completely exploded on us. And that's just another, it's just another thing. Like less funds are available, more people need mental health, behavioral health help. And, the cost of everything has risen exponentially. So how's it like running an equine therapy farm? It is exhausting. I think that if you aren't really dedicated to sort of this type of work, you would burn out doing this type of work. I hate to say that it's 24/7, but it really kind of is. I got involved with ANT because I was in love with the mission, because I believe in animal-assisted therapy. I believe in outdoor education, and as the world gets more digital and more advanced, and what we really need is to go outside, and I hate to say it, but to touch grass, right? To really ground in reality and be present with people. So for me, the love of the mission is what keeps me pushing forward, and it's what's grown our organization. When I started in 2020, we were serving 500 people. Now we're serving over 5,000 people, and that's just a testimony to how much this work is needed and how appealing just connecting and building community and being at peace outside with animals, how important that. I mean, I've got all of the ways. So the easiest way to donate to ANT is just giving through our website. That's animalsisnaturaltherapy.org. You can choose sort of which thing you'd want to give to. ANT, like I said, we work with schools, we work with hospice, we work with assisted care, we work with just after school youth participants, we do day camps, and we also take in a lot of animals to be the soft place for them to land. We don't like to say that we're a rescue because we aren't, although we do take in a lot of rescued animals. So some people want to give to the critters, some people want to give to veteran funding. You can choose that during your donation where you would like that gift to go. You could also just keep an eye out for our fundraisers. Again, the gala is in February, the Healing Hearts is in October. Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. To stay plugged in, you can also sign up to be on our newsletter on our website as well.
Sweet, thanks. I'll put some of the stuff on the screen. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like running a equine assisted therapy farm in terms of insurance and more
insurance is expensive actually, so we're just renewing our insurance policy for our nonprofit insurance plan. We were quoted about 17.
My name is Lindsay Colson, and I'm the program coordinator here at Animals as Natural Therapy.
And what programs does ANT offer?
ANT offers a wide array of programs, mainly for youth ages 6 to 18. We offer after-school equine-assisted learning programs, as well as private sessions and school partnerships. And then we also serve veterans here at our farm in partnership with our therapist. Animals have been a big part of my personal mental health and healing journey, especially in my preteen and teen years. They were a big source of peace and stability and confidence, and being able to share that with youth that come here to the farm and witness the ways that our animals impact other people really drew me to this work and has kept me feeling really passionate about it.
A particular story of your time here that you've experienced where it was really shows the profound effects of animal therapy and why you do it, kind of. There's a lot.
There's a lot, and it's hard to narrow it down. Just one thing, a recent one that has really stuck with me and just like pulled at my heart was we have a group of 6th graders coming out right now with the Blaine Middle School. So they come with their with a teacher from their school. They're selected by the school counselor, and they come out during school hours, which is a really special partnership for us and allows us to serve youth that might not be able to be here otherwise. And we have one participant who is going through a lot of bullying at school and has a lot of anxiety and struggles with confidence. And when they first came here on their first session, they were visibly very nervous to interact with any of the animals, especially the horses. They're large animals and they can be intimidating if you haven't experienced being around them before. And we shared something that we call our horse promise here, which is something that is really special for our interactions with the equines and the horses that live here. And so we invited this participant to make the horse promise before going up to meet Cotton, one of our herd members. And the horse promise is that we promise to take care of them. We need them to take care of us. If we make a mistake, we need them to forgive us. And if they make a mistake, we promise to forgive them. And so we shared that with this participant, and they kind of said it to Cotton, and they thought about it and they processed it, and they approached Cotton and they were petting him and grooming him. And at the end of the session, we asked what stood out to them and what they'll carry with them from the session. And they shared that making the promise helped them feel really safe to approach Cotton, and that Cotton kept his promise. And they came back the next week and were just so excited to see Cotton and got to lead Cotton, and have just seen the week to week growth and confidence, I think, is what really impacts me in that participant and many others that we see.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the bunnies?
Yeah.
I
would love to talk about the bunnies. What about the bunnies?
Because I feel like bunny therapy is it's awesome, and it's not super common.
Yeah, we've called it fuzz therapy in the past. And the bunnies are a huge part of our programs. They're a huge part of our mobile programs, as you know. They visit lots of senior care facilities and schools. And here at the farm, they are participants in our equine-assisted and animal-assisted therapy and learning programs. They are often a part of when participants first get here to the farm, if they're feeling nervous. Bunnies are a great grounding animal. Just petting a soft animal like a bunny can release oxytocin and other happy chemicals in our brain and help us feel really connected and loved and in relationship with ourselves and the animals here. And they just bring a lot of joy. Just watching them and being with them, you can't help but smile. So they are hard-working little critters here at the farm.
And one of them is yours, right?
Yeah, Smokey Bear.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we love and cherish our volunteers, and we have quite a few avenues for folks in the community to get involved. One of them is to support youth directly here in our after-school programs as a youth mentor. So mentors are the folks that work one-on-one with a youth for the entire quarter, a youth and their equine partner. And they are a safe, consistent adult presence that is there to support and process alongside and cheer on the participants out here as they learn and explore and grow through their relationship with the animals. Those are weekly.
Yeah, I am Molly McKinney Holcomb. I am the development director at Animals as Natural Therapy, and I've been on staff here since November of last year, so a little over 6 months. But I've been a volunteer and a donor before that, and also did my internship here for my master's program several years ago. I was doing my master's in public health with a concentration in population mental health and well-being. And I also have a history in death care, funeral care, end-of-life care, and have been volunteering at ANT. So when Jamie and Lindsay asked if I would be up for helping get their hospice visiting program off the ground, I was delighted. And we worked together, kind of came together with Whatcom Hospice, the team there, and the Hospice Foundation, and a couple of other funders. And it was just something that felt like everybody was kind of waiting for it to happen, and it all came together really smoothly. When I think about that end of life period, especially, it's a period of time where there's so much grief, and there are so many feelings. There's often physical pain, along with emotional pain and relational pain. And it's also this period of so much waiting. It's so much just kind of waiting with the person that's dying, waiting for the next stage, waiting for whatever is going to happen, the next kind of sign of the end of life approaching. And so being able to bring animals into that period of time feels really sacred, and it feels really beautiful to be able to kind of come into this waiting room, this holding pattern that people are in, and bring novelty and nostalgia and comfort and really joy for a lot of folks. We see people smile that haven't been in a place to feel like smiling for a while. And the generation of people that are coming to the end of their life now are folks that grew up with kind of everybody had a handful of chickens and bunnies and maybe a goat or two. So when we bring farm animals in, there's this connection to memory that happens that brings people back to their childhood, and it's kind of this full circle moment that we've seen be really beautiful for people. And then just for folks that are dealing with grief and loss as well, there's nothing quite like kind of having that held by an animal with their non-judgmental way of being and just the comfort that they provide. So we go in every 2 weeks. We go to Whatcom Hospice House, and we bring a little team of specially trained volunteers that are really comfortable in that environment. And we have kind of a key team of animals that are a little more calm, a little more kind of emotionally attuned than some of our others. So yeah, animals that we know that we can bring into a room where someone is medically and emotionally fragile, and they can just really bring joy and peace.
Oh, look at you go!
Come on, Lily! Go, Lily, go! Go, Lily, go! Come on! Come on!
Her trot is so cute.
Lily, move your butt!
Well, I'm Lucy, and I am the mobile ant coordinator as well as an instructor, and I also help with feeding on the farm. Everyone does a little bit of everything. So I coordinate the mobile ant visits, which is our program that takes our small animals and sometimes our big animals off the farm to facilities or places that normally wouldn't have access to it. So like senior care facilities, we work with other nonprofits, youth organizations, and schools to get the animals in for therapeutic learning visits. And I'm also an instructor on the farm. I mostly work with the big horses for on the farm visits.
How did you get into this job or start doing this work with animals?
Well, I grew up with horses, riding horses, competing with horses, and my horse Marley, who's a therapy horse here. When I graduated from high school, he became pasture ornament, so he was just sitting there. So I was looking for a good home for him, and I'd moved up to Bellingham for school, and I found Ant. And so he found his home here, and then soon later I did as well. I'd always wanted, this has actually been my dream job since I was 11.
Aww.
I wanted to be a horse therapist, like a equine counselor. And although I'm not exactly that, it's as close as my 11-year-old dream wanted to get, which is very cool. I'm very thankful to be here.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, should we do a little animal intro?
This is Lily, our pig. We just got her a few weeks ago. She's about 1 year old. She's a cooney pig. She's very sweet. We're working on having her lose a little bit of weight. She's a little chunky right now, but she's munching on some weeds and getting more mobile recently.
Yes.
And she lives with all 5 of our goats. This is Daphne, one of our goats. She's a rescue goat from Mountain Meats Farm. She's in mobile ant training. He has training for it. She's very, very sweet. Look, where's Dot? That's it. Dot, come here. Come on. Dot, come here. This is Dot, Daphne's sister. Dot is also a rescue from Mountain Meats Farm, and she is mobile ant trained, pretty much. Still a challenge to get a diaper on sometimes. Which is the best part of mobile ant, coming into the schools and they're all wearing diapers. This is Casper, our eldest goat and our goat that we've had the longest. Yes, the longest. He's also our only male goat, and he's also the one that just ate the microphone cord. So, very proud of yourself, Casper. Whoa!
Oh!
Coco! This is Coco, our little brown goat. She's so perfect. She is the most mobile ant trained, the sweetest love bug, and the tiniest of the bunch. We've had Casper and Queenie since they were babies, I believe. Queenie's about 6 years old, I think. I think she's 2 years younger than Casper. She's mobile ant trained, but only if she goes on visits with Casper. Very dependent on Casper. Everyone else is pretty independent. And that's our go-to.
What does a typical mobile visit look like?
So usually our mobile visits are 1 hour in duration to make sure that the animals don't reach their maximum limit and keep them happy and safe emotionally and physically. And we go to facilities and they're pretty laid back for the most part. The biggest point of them is just to bring joy and connection to the people that we're visiting with, and let funny moments happen, let mistakes happen. People love it when mistakes happen. There's a chicken flying all over or something. Just to bring a lot of joy to the people around us. When we go to schools, sometimes we work with their counselor, whoever's coordinating the visit, to focus on certain life skills that they might be focusing on in the moment. Or we've just done some visits recently where they were in the middle of testing, and so we just came for some relaxation and focus on deep breaths and mindfulness and just being present with the animals and getting what they need out of the visit. Hey, don't eat that.
Mr. Trouble.
Alright. Ophelia! Hello, darling.
Aww.
Why are you moving like that?
Oh my gosh. So
this is Opie, or Ophelia for long.
she's in trouble.
You're okay. She's about 3 years old.
Okay,
she comes on some mobile ant visits, but she's really shy.
Yeah.
But she's so sweet.
Do you want to talk a little bit about like making sure that the animals are comfortable on visits and like not like how many visits they go to, you know, limiting what they do to make sure they're happy?
So, I mean, the biggest limitation that we do for visits is we don't have them any longer than an hour. Sometimes we do make exceptions for schools because you simply can't fit 100 kids through in an hour in keeping the animals emotionally safe or physically. And, but we also watch their behaviors. So, Aura doesn't really go on mobile ant visits that much at all, unless it's a pen visit and we know it's going to be a calm pen visit. It's just not her cup of tea. Opie, we try to only take her to senior care facilities where it's really calm because she doesn't like the school energy. But then Smokey Bear or Snow, I think they're both busy right now. You know, there are other 2 rabbits that are just big friendly guys and so outgoing, and they can handle any situation. They're a lot more social, so they can go on, you know, like 3 mobile visits a week and have them be schools. I think Smokey's done 4 visits this week. He's been on fire, so and he's still doing great, and he's happy. He loves human connection. So we just watch for that behavior in all of the animals. That's just the bunnies, but you know, like Casper has shown some signs. He's old, he's kind of just done a little bit, so he's limited to 1 visit a week. We have some chickens too, that one of them, she's doing like well, she's here at the farm, but she's older, she's slowing down, and we just don't take her on mobile ant visits anymore, so she's retired, even though she was so great at mobile ant visits. But we have a lot of animals like that where we retire them when we're done and we listen to the behavior. So if we're on a mobile ant visit, and probably Opie's doing it right now, their eyes are really big. They're not really football shaped, showing that they're more calm. If they're moving around a lot, or if they're in like fight or flight mode where they're just frozen, we try to listen to those behaviors and we give them breaks during visits, taking them to a window or a calm area, a quiet area, a dark area, whatever they need in that moment, or back to the van. If they're really not having it, I've had that before where I take a chicken that can't stop panting back to the van, they're done. And we reevaluate their mobile ant status. Just making sure they're all comfortable, because if the animals aren't comfortable, the people aren't comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's so, they're all so amazing for, she's ticked. Sorry. I'm sorry I held you for so long. They're also amazing for leaving the farm and going on visits and going to schools and getting touched by so many people. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Tim.
Oh.
He's our newest rabbit that we adopted from the Whatcom Humane Society.
Aww.
And he's still getting used to visits. So all of our bunnies go in baskets during visits, or stroller. And he's had a couple instances of hopping out of the basket. Hi, chickies. You're the most perfect chicken in the world. Spoons, say hi. This is Spoons. What do you think, Spoons?
What do you have to say?
Whoa.
Oh.
Sassy.
Oh.
I like to perch.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Oop. Spoons, you laid your egg in the wrong spot. Really? Will you jump? Will you jump? So some of the chickens wear diapers when they go indoors, and they look like harnesses on top, but underneath their diapers. Big fan favorite. Yeah. Some of them can walk in them. Some of them fall over. So not all of them wear them all the time. Most of the time they're not walking, although we have one chicken that likes to walk a lot. This one! You, Polly! It's you! You're the walker and the talker. Oh, she's down. That's a lot of chicken to fly down past her. Okay. So this is Jersey, our rooster. He's the nicest rooster you'll ever meet. He's a little shy though. And he doesn't go on visits. He stays here on the farm. Okay, so one of my favorite stories that me and a volunteer experienced recently on a mobile ant visit was it was at a senior care facility, and we were walking through the halls, going in room to room, bringing bunnies, chickens, goats, and I think I had I can't remember if it was Opie or Timothy, and I had one of the bunnies with me, and there was this room we were passing by, and the lady was obviously not, everyone's so loud, not doing well, and didn't seem to quite be there. And as I'm walking into her room, the staff in the back are telling me, no, don't go in there, don't go in there, she doesn't like visitors, which I like completely did not hear and was not listening, which is my fault. But glad I ended up going in there because she was so thrilled, and she was talking with me in her own way, or to the animals, I'm not quite sure, and petting all of them, and obviously very excited, and communicated in her own way, but it was still clear. There was still like a very clear connection that lit her up. And I turn around at one point, and there's like a group of staff outside of her door all staring in, and one of our volunteers is out there, and she hears them, and they said, "This is insane, she never talks this much, she's quiet, I've never seen her this lit up, I can't believe it, she's so happy to have visitors," and like they were all blown away, and they were saying this is the most engaged they've seen her in a long time, and the most lit up they've seen her. And so it made me very glad that I didn't hear what these expectations were, because you never know what animals are going to bring to people, or bring out of people, especially in senior care, in memory care, in some of our hospice visits, whether it's, you know, for the people, the families that are there, or the patients themselves. It's really,
Hey.
I remember these things from my glory days. They scared me really bad.
That's your Oh.
I mean, he's everyone's because he's such a people
Aw.
so many connections.
Wow.
It's amazing. You make so many friends, don't you? Such a good friend. And this is Jackson. Jackson is our mini mule, half horse, half donkey. And he's been attending mobile land visits more and more recently. He's really good at outdoor visits during the summertime when it's nicer out. And he can sometimes do indoor. We do have a bit of a hijacked diaper situation that we can use for him. Okay, this is Ziggy. He's our mobile ant mini horse, but he's in hiatus right now. He's not been enjoying them recently, so a prime example of us listening to our animals' feedback. He just hasn't been engaged. He's been nibbly on and off the farm, as you can kind of see right now. We're into them, but we're trying to figure out what he enjoys, so you might still see him out at parks. We take him to parks pretty regularly. Haley, our horse trainer, does. And we have a volunteer that comes every week to work with him. And yeah, he really likes to play scent games too. So we'll put treats under bowls or cones and scatter them everywhere, and then he has to figure out which ones have treats in them, and he tips them over and gets the treat. So he likes going to the pet store too. I know 2 of my coworkers took him to PetSmart, and he sniffed around at everything.
Oh my god.
Really enjoyed.
So, what does equine assisted therapy look like? Like, what is a session?
So, I mean, we mostly do equine assisted learning right now because we don't have a licensed therapist on our team at the moment. And I've never done an EAT session, so I don't exactly know.
Yeah.
But as far as equine assisted learning goes, so we have 2 different types. We have private sessions that we do where it's one of our PATH certified instructors and then a participant, usually a youth participant. And then we have our youth programs that are in groups up to 8, I believe is our limit. And they can look, we try to focus on what the kids need. We try to focus and find what the group need is or what a general need is, if we can split them up into 2 different groups and rotate. We have, like, for example, I have one group right now where it's a school group and we're focusing on teamwork. And so we have lesson plans for all different types of themes like teamwork, leadership, empathy, mindfulness, problem solving, etc., etc. And one of our most popular activities that we do for teamwork specifically is called Life's Little Obstacles. So we have them, groups build an obstacle course in the round pen over here, and then we bring one equine in, we take their halter off, we take their lead rope off, and we tell the group, you have time to brainstorm, but you have to get your equine. The goal is to get your equine through the obstacle course without touching them, without talking, and without bribing them as well, because treats is easy.
Yeah.
And so they have to work together as a team, and we'll let them brainstorm, but then they have to come together, and it's no talking and figuring out how to communicate and how to communicate with a horse too, and learning how each horse is different. And we had a really fun go of it today with our session. They were, success looks different for each group, but they got the equine all the way through the course, and it was a really cool session. They made up their own language with like hand signals, which I've never seen before in a group. It was really cool, and they worked very well on the team. But sometimes it doesn't go that way. Some of the horses are really different, and then kids are different. And it can be nerve-wracking to, okay, now make this big horse go without touching them or talking to them, and getting like big with your body and big with your energy can be a lot. And but it's a good confidence boost when you get a successful communication, get feedback. Thanks. Oh yes, you're right in the way. That's a good spot. No big boy. So
In our groups are usually 8 weeks long, like our after school group sessions, equine assisted learning sessions. And the first session is usually just getting to know the farm, maybe doing some herd observation, watching how the horses interact with each other. And usually the second session we have is when we have hanging out food. The kids choose their equines, or the equines choose their kids. So how we usually do it is we have the entire herd of all 10 or however many equines we have out in the dry lot, and the kids all go up there and see which horses they're drawn to. And we ask them to focus on how their bodies feel around the horses. Do they feel tense? Do they feel calm? How does their mind feel around the horses? Do they feel connected to them? What does connection feel like to you? You know, maybe what do you look for in a good friend? And then we also watch the horses' feedback as well. So it's a total, it's the horses choose the kids just as much as they do the horses. Usually it lines up pretty well. The kid wants to be with the horse that also wants to be with them. But sometimes it's pretty cool. Abby right here. We've had Abby the longest, 10, 11 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. And when she chooses a kid, it's so strong. It's like, she beelines it to them. She knows, she tells us. She follows them around like a dog, which she doesn't do that to me. I think she likes me just fine. Yeah. That's another thing too. The kids always, if a horse, walks away from them, the horse doesn't like me. Which just isn't true, because horses don't feel any judgment or really resentment like that. Mm-hmm. And they're also pretty cool, so they just get distracted very easily. That's so sweet. Yeah, that's my favorite. I think my favorite part of the quarter is when the equines and the kids choose each other. It's so cool. And Teddy, our new horse up there, chose a kid recently. Yeah. Aww. It's his first time in programming. It was just, they were visiting with another horse, and he came in and shoved his head in between the other horse and the kid. And it was really sweet. And then he was just following them around the dry lot. You're mine now. I'd like to be with you. Oh. Yeah. It's super cool. They're really intuitive, especially when they're given the opportunity to be intuitive. I've watched Marley, my horse, grow since he's gotten here, and figure out that he's not only allowed to be that way, but it's encouraged, and it's really cool. It's really cool how the horses come into themselves as well here. Aww. You say medals? Yes. But it's pretty one-sided. Oh, God.
I'm Libby, and this is Marley, one of our senior horses here at Ant. I've been a volunteer here for about 3 years now. I've also started doing some instructor and training work. Yeah. I found it through Western. I'm a psychology major, or I was a psychology major. I graduated. And I was looking for volunteer opportunities in Bellingham, and I've always loved doing work with horses and therapy settings. I've volunteered at a couple of other places before this, but there's truly nothing like Ant. Something that I really appreciate that Ant does is the amount of outreach they strive for queer youth in Whatcom County. Queer youth are often neglected in this field, and so we have some pride camps during the summer that I've gotten to be a part of, and it's just amazing to be able to see queer youth connecting together and bonding over shared struggles within the school system and within our current world, and that we get to be a part of that community. And as a queer person myself, it's just very personally impactful. And so my journey with equine therapy actually started with my own personal experience, a residential treatment center. And while I was enrolled there, I got to participate in equine therapy. And so that inspired me to help others through similar journeys, and it's what I love doing here at ANT, specifically with the Visions group, who are also enrolled in a residential program. So we had that experience in common. That's where I've had some of the most impactful experiences. You know, there was one youth that I was working with who had been having urges to relapse while she was in the program, and described her urges to engage in those behaviors as a feeling of like bugs crawling under her skin, and that was just a constant for her. When she was here at the farm, she told me that those feelings completely stopped. She was partnered with a horse who's no longer with us, named Andy. And when she was with Andy, she didn't have those urges or feelings of prickling under her skin, and she told me that there were very few people in her life that made her feel that way, and Andy was one of those individuals for her. And so I'm just glad we get to be here for people who are going through tough times, and that I get to be a part of their healing journey in the way that equines were there for me when I needed them as well. Something that I really appreciate that ANT does is the amount of outreach they strive for queer youth in Whatcom County. Queer youth are often neglected in this field, and so we have some pride camps during the summer that I've gotten to be a part of, and it's just amazing to be able to see queer youth connecting together and bonding over shared struggles within the school system and within our current world, and that we get to be a part of that community. And as a queer person myself, it's just very personally impactful. And
see it like hopping up the tree back there.
Which tree?
Like kind of further away.
Oh, I see it. Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it'll come to the nest.
Oh, it's so pretty.
There's a lot of berries.
What do you like about birding?
I like sitting down and just like listening. Like, I feel like it's kind of meditative or like therapeutic in some way, just to like be like present, listening to what's going on right now.
I like, you can really kind of get in touch with what the birds are saying to each other. Like, you can hear when like a hawk gets into the area because they start like all like screaming and making a bunch of noises, and I kind of like that, like really getting in touch with the bird world. Let me check this spot out. See that broken tree there with the hole in it? They got babies in there.
Have you guys gotten pretty good at the calls?
was really good in like middle school. I was super into birds, so I've still kind of got it from when I was younger.
That's a big bug.
How many INA observations do you have?
I think right now I have over 200.
Dang, that's amazing. What's your favorite bird?
Your favorite bird?
I think I like loons.
Yeah,
they're so pretty. And they seem wise.
I like chats. This bird called chat, yellow-breasted chat. And they're really cool. They sing at night.
Oh.
I mean, I'm always hoping, even when I'm doing the project, that I'm gonna find something rare. Like, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
in that first voice.
I really want to see a red star too.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And a red-eyed vireo.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you love about birding?
I hate birding. Really. I mean, I just do it for the money. You know, it's like, I mean, birds, they're dirty, ugly. The sound just is terrible. But, you know, I get paid bi-monthly or bi-weekly. So, yeah. I just get paid by the taxpayers of the state of Washington and the good students who pay tuition. And, you know, I have a boat and a private jet, stuff, fly around the country looking at birds. No, what do I love about birding?
Well, I started birding in 1980 in a really dark period of my life. Depressed and sometimes suicidal. And a friend introduced me to it, and it just kind of like met my soulmate. And got me outdoors to beautiful places. The birds are beautiful, their singing is beautiful. And as a sport, you know, because you try to see as many birds as you could. So I was a lister for a while. And then as time went on, I started to ask, you know, why is this bird doing what it's doing? Why is that one doing what it's doing? And that got me into the study of animal behavior. So at that point, I mean, birds still remain just a delight to me. And honestly, it's kind of an alternate universe existing with us. And I can step out of my human universe, which is really a pretty screwed up universe, into the bird universe and just spend time with them. And it just feels, it's a great escape. I don't think total escapism is a great idea, but we all need our escapes. And then, but then when I started thinking about animal behavior, birds became a window into how the natural world works, evolution, ecology. And so that's when it switched from just having a great time watching birds to actually thinking about what do birds teach us about how nature works. And so both of those things still delight me today. I love seeing a wonderful bird or hearing the dawn chorus this morning at 4:15 a.m. But I also always thinking about what are the birds doing, why.